Hey guys, welcome back to Fix It TV, and we're coming back to you with another video about Interbellum, the private Warhammer server that has been announced to be coming out live soon. Today we're going to have a little look on specialization, a little information about how the classes and the new talent trees are going to be working, and of course we're also going to have a little look on gear acquisition, how the new gear, the new currency is going to be working, just to give you guys an idea. Please keep in mind that this is not the final product. There still might be some changes left and right. So let's go and see how things are going to be working on this new server. All right, specializations. Now, the example they released was about the Bright Wizard and how things are going to work as an example. At this point, I have to tell you, there is a little meeting coming up soon between the devs and a few other people to explain some of this mechanism a little bit better. So in a couple of weeks, you should have more details about how this thing's exactly going to work. But today, we're going to see just how things might be in the end game when it comes out. So regarding the classes, they're going to be semi-unique gameplay loops. Semi-unique, from what I understood, they mean that's going to be a little changes here and there, so it will give you a little bit of a different feeling when you're playing the class on the specific game loop. As a game loop, you can also translate that with different specializations. For example, as you know, I play engineer, so you may have a sniper, and then you may have a sniper with napalm, a little bit of AoE. That's a different gameplay. Then you can have a sniper with the keg. That's a different one, and so on and so forth, giving you variety of ways to play. Some people were hoping for mirrors, but there's going to be no mirrors or quasi-mirroring. It's going to be individual classes from the looks of things. I mean, in the end of the day, you can't really mirror the lion to the marauder to the lion, the squeak to the shadow warrior, unless they create new classes, which as far as I know at this point, there will be no new classes coming in, but you never know. Keep your fingers crossed, maybe they will, but they're going to keep it different, so people that want to have a different gameplay, they can try both sides and do that. Now, one major change is the 3 hard specializations on the talent trees, which according to them is going to give you 72 different ways to play the game. That is something I have on my list of questions for the upcoming roundtable with the devs, and we'll see exactly how those 72 ways are going to be presented in the game and into a gameplay. However, 3 hard specializations means this. As you know, most classes have 3 trees when you pick to play. So before, you could pick a few points on the left tree, you could pick a few points on the middle tree, and even more on the last one. You could mix and match those and make your build. Now, if you choose, let's say, the left tree, a sniper build, marksman tree for the engineer, for example, that's it. You put all your points on that tree. You don't go even 1 point on the middle or the right. You don't have the option. So that's what it means by hard specializations. You will only pick one talent tree and you stick to it, right? So your mastery points will be spent on the specialization you select. Now, they will be implementing tactics and other buffs to make it more interesting as far as I know, but they haven't really said a lot about how that's going to work. They are reworking the morals, the tactics a little bit to be more meaningful instead of, you know, +1 cooldown or something like that. Now, you will be able to change your specialization, your hard specializations for free. Okay, there'll be no cost to that. As long as you change things within it, like you to put 5 points here and 3 points there, you don't like it, you want to put 3 there and 5 there, you can change that for free. But if you want to change from one specialization to the other, from the left tree to the middle tree, to try something different, that will have a cost. Most likely will be a certain amount of gold, but they haven't determined yet the amount that they're gonna charge for that. Now, on the specializations, they have made significant changes to the game style. Okay, so the first change that we're going to be noticing is that most classes will have, if not all, they're going to have variable roles. For example, you're going to be a tank or a defensive support, right? You're going to be offensive support, a healer or offensive support. You're going to be a DPS or DPS support. That being said, it means either you're going to be a glass cannon, or you're gonna reduce your DPS to support your group by doing debuffs or buffs, buffing morale, doing functions like this. So you drop DPS, you buff the group, which is more beneficial, or you debuff the enemy, it's also more beneficial. So we're gonna have new formats being created. Like you're gonna have a warband where you're gonna have your pure tanks, your tank supports, your pure glass cannon DPS with maybe one DPS support buffing the whole group, and so on and so forth, creating new tactics, new warband formats, new 6-man, new solo roaming, etc. Moving on, we're gonna see some examples of the actual specializations. As I said before, the example they gave us is the Bright Wizard. So let's go and see the 3 hard specializations of the Bright Wizard. So every class is going to have 3 specializations. As before, we had the talent trees left, middle, and right. So for the Bright Wizard example, we have the Pyromancer, which is going to be using the mechanism of combustion. The Arsonist, which is going to be using the mechanism of explosion. And Battle Wizard is going to be using the blast mechanism. I haven't really played the Bright Wizard myself. I remember combustion and a little bit of explosion, but the blast is something new that they are introducing. So Pyromancers are the usual typical Bright Wizard you know from the other 2 versions of the game. They will be using staffs, they're DPS, they attack from range, and they're using the combos by using timestamps. If you don't know what timestamps are, basically you try and use cast time and instant spells to make them hit at the same time, so you maximize your impact to the enemy. Their mobility is tied to spending combustion, while their damage is tied on being at very high levels of it. So glass cannon, DPS, classic Bright Wizard, that will be the Pyromancers. Now, as a DPS, as a glass cannon, of course, you're going to be dealing significant amount of damage, all right? But as always, a glass cannon will be lacking defensive skills and support functions. So I suppose this is the left tree, let's say. This is the pure glass cannon DPS Bright Wizard we know. However, the Arsonist is going to be a little bit more different because they're going to be fighting at medium range and possibly at melee range. Now, we've seen some builds like that in warbands with the AoE Bright Wizard going the front lines and doing something like that. However, the Arsonists will not be using staffs. They're going to be using swords, and they will have a second DPS role of the Bright Wizard, possibly the middle tree, right? So they will lose all their direct damage and range damage, and they're becoming basically a dot class. They will have no direct damage, only dots. They're going to be using combustion on this one as well, but they're going to be using those combustion points to generate very hard-hitting melee attacks, and there is a new mechanism that will allow them to escape in the back line. So this is going to be a gameplay of I go in the front lines, I generate combustion and melee, I do loads of damage for a certain amount of time, and then I have to move out of combat to resupply the points through a mechanism unknown at this point, and then we'll go back in. So it's going to be in and out kind of tactic. Go in, do the damage, come out, and go back in, which it's something we haven't seen before. So no direct damage, only dots, melee range, using swords, in and out. So that is a class that I have seen in Last Epoch, as there's a specialization on the Sorks there that use swords. So this is something I don't remember in the previous versions of the game. Also, this class can force itself to explode using global cooldowns to generate extra combustion, so they can stay in melee range a little bit longer at a certain cost. Basically, they blow up themselves to generate more combustion and stay in combat longer in the front lines, but it's not sustainable for very long periods of time. I suppose as an emergency, someone's about to die, you want to stay a little bit longer, that would be how this class is going to be played. It's going to be the in and out of combat mechanism. Finally, we're going to have the Battle Wizards, which are offensive support. So we had the glass cannon, we're going to have the melee Blight Wizard, and now we're going to have a offensive support. What does an offensive support does? That means basically you're a DPS, but you have a lot lower personal damage. So you're going to sacrifice some of your damage in order to support the overall offensive of your warband or your party. I don't know if the buffs you're going to be doing, they're going to be extending outside of your party, so warband or party, but we'll see. But if every party has a Bright Wizard, maybe it can do the same thing. Like the Pyromancer is going to be using staffs, all right, and they will use the spells with combustion as the Pyromancers to burn away their enemies. Defenses, they will be doing some damage, but the burning off defense. It's going to be a debuffing class. So they will allow all of their allies to stack blast on enemies, right? They will have the spells and they will be able to restore some AP to the party. And these effects will be triggered by explosions and blood. So they're going to be using both combustion. They're going to be debuffing the enemy. Your DPS is going to be adding points on that. They will be able to dispel. They will be able to restore AP while doing some damage and enabling you to do more damage. So it looks like this specific specialization is going to be for me, interesting mechanism. You do some damage and you debuff the enemy. The rest of your party is DPSing the enemy, and therefore it's adding blast stacks on them to help you get your mechanism going. And then you can use that to do dispels and restore AP to the party. So it's a combination. The wizard will do damage and debuff, and then it's your job to help him get the points to do more stuff to help you. It's an interesting combination for warbands and parties. So those will be the three hard specializations of the Bright Wizard, the Pyromancer, the Arsonist, and the Battle. So the new stuff is the debuffer support and melee Bright Wizard. I don't see here the classic AoE, Rain of Fire kind of thing, Bright Wizard here. I'm hoping that we will have some classes like that for warband play, for keep defense, for fort defense, and so on and so forth. So maybe the AoE will be tied up to the Pyromancers. We're going to be the glass cannon, so you can have single target and AoE, or you can have those both in one specialization. We still need some clarifications on these classes, how they're going to work in this new game style that we're observing. For me, they look good. On paper, they look exciting, they're new. I'm looking forward to see how the engineer is going to be working seriously, because it's been gutted in the previous versions. So have a look at this specialization of the Bright Wizard, get an idea of what you might expect for the rest of the classes. Like I said, there is a roundtable for questions, a private one soon. I am part of that group, so we'll see when that's going to happen, and we'll get some more information on that. I am writing down some questions to ask them. So next topic on this video is gear. Let's go have a look how we're going to be getting our gear and how we can use them and what's going to happen there with the different rarities and everything. Combat gear. Now let's start with some definitions here and a few things to get your head around how things are going to be working. We say combat gear because that's what you're going to be getting, the gear you need to PvP. There's also appearance gear, which is basically for transmogs. That's the two classifications there. Now, Interbellum as a server, as an idea, is going to be a PvP-centric MMORPG, which means they don't want you to go out there and farm NPCs for your materials. You're going to be getting everything you need from your PvP. You go there in PvP and you get your gear, you get your materials for crafting, you get your potions, you get everything basically there. I don't know yet if somebody feels like not PvPing, but they want to go and farm NPCs, like we used to do, you know, bats for absorption potions, whatnot. If that's still going to be an option, I'm assuming it would be, but given the choice, you can also do that via PvP. Now, the way you're going to be acquiring your gear is via PvP, as we said, and they will come to you in the following forms: through crates of goods, superior crates of goods, and Ranald Coins. Those are the three things you're going to be looting or looking for to get your gear. The crates of good is the equivalent of a public quest loot bag. I'm assuming also a white bag from PvP from another version of the game. The crate of goods gonna stack, so you don't have to worry about space in your bags while you're PvPing, because from what I understood, there's going to be a lot of them coming your way. And it's advisable that you open them once you finish your PvP, not just running around, because you're going to clutter your inventory with things as you open them. Now, every crate of goods is going to have the following things inside. It's going to have 2 pieces of green combat gear, lower quality potions and talismans, crafting materials, gold, and other non-appearance related things. I don't know what that is or what they have in mind, but we'll see. The important thing is that you're not getting all of those things. You're going to have to choose one option, one item every time you open the box. So for example, you open a crate of goods and you choose either 2 pieces of green combat gear or lower quality potions or crafting materials and so on. You can't have all of them. So depending on your needs, you're going to have to pick one of those 5 options that the crate is going to give you. The superior crate of goods will have purple quality materials in there, which are a bit rarer. Those ones are obtainable when you lock zones, weekly quests, clearing dungeons for the first time, basically completion of some sort of an objective in the game, not just PvPing. They're also going to have 5 options, but this time you get 3, not 2. 3 pieces of purple combat gear, high quality potions, crafting materials, gold, and other related appearance things. Again, here, remember, you can only choose one of those. So gear will be coming our way, but then they're going to be coming very fast since you're going to have to keep picking one thing at a time. And I don't know the frequency, but these ones won't drop as often as the normal crates. There's also another way of obtaining gear, which is going to be the Ranald Coins. The Ranald Coins will have blue quality. But although they have blue quality, the Ranald Coins are harder to get. And they also are acquired the same way. Locking zones, killing is somewhere in between the previous 2 mechanisms. And those ones, you turn them in on the classic way into a vendor inside the capital city, whichever it is that you are. And from there, you can purchase medium quality potions, crafting materials, and this is the difference here. You can purchase a Ranald chance box, which will give you 2 pieces of blue combat gear. Random stuff. So either you get some materials or you get that. And again, only one option from those 3 items contained into the Ranald chance box. You can only pick one. Important things are to remember that you got PvP to get all these. Okay, they drop in different rates, different functions, different areas in the game, locking zones, killing, doing quests, weeklies, etc. Now, we have to take another step and clarify a few more things, because to tell you the truth, I was a little bit confused about this system and the colors and why is the Ranald Coins, which are rare, blue, which is meant to be less than purple, and so on and so forth. Ignore the colors. Okay, on this server, colors mean nothing when it comes to combat gear. There is absolutely no power difference between green, blue, and purple gear. They're all the same. Okay, a piece of green gear could be as good as a blue or a purple. All right, so you're gonna have to check all the gear you get, regardless of the color, and see whether that is good for you. See the stats, see the perks, see whatever, and see if that is good for you. Now, the significance between the green, blue, and purple is that a green gear is less likely to be better than a purple, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be. Okay, so you have to check everything. The color distinction is mainly there for salvaging professions. But as we said, you have to check them. It's less likely green will be better than a purple, but it can be, so you don't want to miss the piece of gear to have it. The crates of goods function as a generic loot. The superior ones, the higher end reward. Okay, and the Ranald Coins are rare drops that function as a way of primary target gear slots. So basically, you use those to go to the vendor and say, okay, I don't have a very good headpiece, let me get one. I don't have some good boots because I wasn't lucky on the boxes, the drops weren't good. I'll use the Ranald Coins to target specific items that I am lacking, the lower level, that don't have something that I want, and so on and so forth. And that will allow you to refine your gear. Now, every gear you're going to get, the entire system, because it's PvP centric, is going to be giving you combat orientated items. Okay, So you don't have to worry about getting something that's not going to be useful. Everything is going to be useful to some degree. There will be no set bonuses as far as I know. So far, there will be non-existing set bonuses. Like you get the, I don't know, the sovereign set, and you get 3 pieces, you get that bonus, that bonus. As far as we know so far, that doesn't exist. I got a little hint that they are working on something like that in specific gears, but it's not going to be there to start with. And also, as I said before, appearance gears are separate from combat gear, so the transmog is a different thing. You're not going to be getting that through PvP, probably from Venters or PvE activities. We'll see how that's going to work out. So, a little summary here at the end for you guys. 3 hard specializations. You can change freely within a hard specialization. New playstyles coming in. Gear, you gotta PvP to get it. The more you PvP, the more gear you're gonna get. 3 different ways of getting it: crates of goods, superior crates of goods, Ranald Coins, random stats. So you gotta keep playing. Everything is PvP related. You get all your materials for crafting from PvP. And another very important point here, if somebody made it this far to the video, your gear is tradable. If you get a piece of gear, you have it, or you don't want it, or you don't like it, you can sell it, you can trade it, you can save it for your alts, right? So nothing is locked, everything is bind on equip. As long as you don't put it on your character, you can sell it on the auction house, you can trade it, you can save it, you can have it for your alts, whatever it is you want to do. And that is a major quality of life for me, because people were doing dungeons before. You get a drop, oh, I already have it, I want to use it somewhere else, but it was locked to a class or whatever. So now you can do that. If you are a dev and I've said something wrong because things are not very clear and detailed sometimes, or if you have any questions, guys, any comments, please leave them below. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share to YouTube and Twitter. Help the channel grow. And I'll see you on the next video. Hopefully it will be one with the roundtable, and we'll have more details and information and clarifications on a lot of the aspects we're talking today. See you on the next video.